Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dream Career Talk Show. Today's topic is a very interesting one. As we all are aware of pharma industry, one of the fast moving industries, and today it is one of the most important industries. And how does pharma industry work? How do the things inside the pharma industry work? How does the regulatory inspection work? What happens during an audit? How do you determine the shelf life of a medicine? What's the role of an auditor? How is the manufacturing plant compliance done? How do you become a compliance head? There are a lot of queries, and it's a very interesting topic. And to understand more about audits, regulatory inspection, and all the other things in the pharmaceutical industry, we have today's guest, Dr. Rupali Paranjape, who comes with over 2 decades of experience in the pharma industry. She has an amazing experience from chemist to regulatory auditor, trainer, and consultant. Dr. Rupali is contributing to the growth and success of pharma companies by the implementation of cGMP in cost effective ways. She is guiding pharma companies and startups for attaining the next level of compliance. She has worked with multinational pharma companies in leading roles in this field of regulatory affairs, compliance, quality assurance, and analytical research and development. Dr. Rupali, your journey has been amazing, over 2 decades of experience, and it's so exciting to have you here on Dream Career Talk Show. Welcome to Dream Career Talk Show.
Thank you, thank you. Such a warm welcome. I really thank you for inviting me in this show, Dream Career Talk Show, and contribute to the society or someone's life and career.
Great, nice to have you here. And why don't we start with your career? Because 2 decades of experience, I have spoken to you, and we have seen the kind of journey that you have gone through with multiple domains, multiple things done in the industry. So, how did you enter into this industry, and how has the journey been so far?
Yeah, I would start from, I would like to share from the start. And actually, I was born in a middle class family. And before marriage, I have completed my MSc in applied chemistry and also MA in Hindi literature and worked as a newsreader and anchor in one of the TV channel and worked as a counselor also. So after my marriage, I entered in the pharma industry, and my career in pharma industry started as a chemist working in a public testing laboratory, and was having the salary of 2000 rupees per month. And after that, I keep on working in the industry in different departments. Means I started in as a chemist, and after that worked in quality control department, and in after that in stability department. After that, in formulation analytical development laboratory, and after that in Europe Regulatory Affairs Department, and then plant compliance, and then compliance. So in this way, I worked in different departments. So worked on the shop floor and having exposure of all the activities happening in these departments very closely.
Amazing. So, like you have covered almost all the departments, looks like, in the pharma industry, especially in the
Mhm.
regulatory and the audits, quality control. Right?
Yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
So now you said you started as a chemist, right? And typically, first of all, what is the qualification criteria if somebody has to get into this industry, right? In the pharma industries, in like getting in as a chemist or a quality control, what's the initial qualification if somebody has to enter there?
Yeah, any the person who is having the qualification of post graduation degree in science stream or B Farm, M Farm, D Farm, even a person is having the graduation also can enter in the pharma industry.
Okay, but mainly chemistry would be something that would be common here, right?
Yeah. Chemistry also depends on the departments also. For example, if any person is want to enter in the microbiology department, so degree according to that subject is preferable. And for API manufacturing companies, they prefer people with a chemistry background because it is all about chemistry. So they prefer the person with a chemistry background. And in formulation, they prefer to choose the people with M Farm, B Farm, means having the formulation background. So it depends on which department and services you are entering.
Right. And you were in the QC also initially when you started. So,
Yeah,
what is
yeah,
the role in that QC department? Like, what kind of activities and what is the role in that department in pharma?
yeah. Quality control department, QC department is very, very important, and we call it as eyes of the industry. Because in pharma industry, for example, you are having any tablet. So by looking at this, you cannot see that whether this tablet is of the good quality or not. The quality control department people do the testing and analysis of that product. It may be API, it may be formulation, and after their testing, based on the result of the testing, if the product is complying with the specification, means if the product is qualifying the criteria to have the good quality, then it is product is released, and then after that only the product comes in the market. So QC people are doing the testing and analysis of the product. They, it may be raw material testing, it may be excipient testing, it may be formulation testing. Means testing is performed in the quality control department.
Okay. And any latest tools that are being used today, like from the time you started till now, is there any difference in terms of the testing that's being done? Any technology change? Anything in terms of tools?
Yeah. Industries are going more towards the automation. Means from manual to automation tools, it is moving very fast. And for example, and there are different instruments. In that instruments also, so many innovations are going on. Means there are different instruments in Carl Fisher, HPLC, GC, and particle size analyzer. So different instruments are there, and the most important things are going, that the digitalization of the systems are going very fast, automations are going very fast. So those are the things which are coming in the industry in the latest model.
Right. But this pharma industry being one of the most important industry because like it is all about the death or the life of a person, right? These medicines
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
are
yeah.
procured.
Yeah.
So
There
when
is
it
no
is,
doubt because
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
because there is no doubt because the patient, we are working, people working in the pharma industry, they are working for the health of the patient who is consuming the drugs. And it may be the person from our family or their family or anyone in the world. So the person must get the good quality of the medicines, and so that they can be cured. So it is very means life saving industry, we can say.
Hmm. And from the quality control, like what was your next step in your career? You were there in the quality control initially, and then what was your next step? Where did you move ahead?
Yeah, after working in quality control department, for 1 year I worked for stability department, where we used to study the shelf life of the product. And for example, you are having any whenever you buy any medicines from the market, you see the expiry date on the medicine, right? So it is not just written, it is written after the stability studies which are performed in the laboratory. And during the formulation development itself, the scientists study the product and its stability, strength, potency, and quality on different temperature and humidity. Our whole world is divided into the four climatic zones, and fourth zone is divided in two climatic zones. So in every zone there are different temperature conditions and humidity conditions. So whenever, for example, if you will place anything in any food in summer, so it is spoiled, right? So similarly, the medicines, when placed at when stored in some specific temperature, then only their quality, potency, and strength are maintained. Otherwise, the product is degraded. Means different impurities are generated. Impurities means the things in layman language which are not the active substance, right? And which is not from the excipients. There are different materials, they are developed. Means product is degraded. So those impurities start increasing. So we do the stability testing of the product, and based on that we give the shelf life to the product. And within, if we will take the shelf life, if we will take the medicine within that shelf life, then only that medicine will create its impact. Means it required result, it will give us required quality, which can cure us, which can heal us. So if we will have the medicines after shelf life, so it is not going to work in our body in the way it should be. So that is the reason we study the shelf life of the we determine the shelf life of any product. So that was the department I was worked for, means approximately 1 year. After that I entered in the analytical development laboratory. This analytical ADL laboratory is the department where we develop the methods. Means, for example, the people who are using the methods for analysis in quality control laboratory, those methods are developed by the scientists working in the analytical development laboratory. So I was working in the formulation. So there I used to develop the methods like the dissolution method development, assay method development, particle size analysis, the method of determining the particle size of means the product. Means likewise, method development was going on in that stage during that period. So there were different instruments, like dissolution, as I told you, dissolution apparatus, particle size analyzer, HPLC, GC. So these are the instruments, and there are many, but these are the few ones. So after working in analytical development laboratory, then I shifted to regulatory affairs department. So in regulatory affairs department, I want to share with you that whenever we want to sell our product in any of the country, so we cannot sell directly that product in that country, especially in regulated market, right? We have to take the permission from the regulatory authorities of that country, right? So those things are done in the regulatory affairs department. There are some documents to be submitted to that authority. They review those documents, and based on that they come and do the audits on the facility. Or if the audit is passed, means the minimum criteria they are looking for, if we are able to qualify in that audit, then we get the approval to sell our product in that country.
Okay, interesting, interesting. And you spoke about the shelf life of the product, which I think is very important for that chemical or for that particular medicine to work. Now, you also spoke about the conditions in which that particular product is stored, right? Whether it's humidity and all of that. Now, we see a lot of medicines being procured today, and then like not everything is stored as per the criteria mentioned there, right? Cold storage and all of that. So what happens with these kind of things? You still consume, you will not get the value out of it.
Yeah, yeah. On every medicine on package, means, packing, you will see that the storage condition is mentioned on the medicines. So it is preferable to keep the to store the medicines on that conditions only.
Okay. And which team actually does this quality check or the check for these things and all? Like,
Means Qs, means stability department is there, and they they are testing and analyzing these things. And in QC also, In quality control department, the stability section is there, and they people study the product. They keep the product on different temperature for some definite period as per the guidelines, and on those periods, on those particular temperature, the analysis of the products are done. Means 6 months, 12 months, and after 24 months, 36 months, 54 months. Means there are periodically analysis is performed. Periodic analysis is performed, and stability testing is done. So there are, based on the guidelines, there are requirement that the minimum stability data to be submitted to the authority before the product comes in the market.
All right. And from there, like, what was your next role in your career? You moved into that, and then after that, what was your next step?
Yeah, means after working in the regulatory affairs, I moved in the compliance department as a head of the compliance, and there I got a very good exposure. Means before that, also as a regulatory head, also I faced the MHRA and USFD audit, and when I entered in the compliance department, so it was I was more exposed to the audits, customer audits, regulatory inspections, so worked very closely to look after compliance. As I was worked in every department, so it was it was very interesting journey. But the same time, there are a great responsibility of also when the people are working in the compliance department or who are working in the quality assurance department. Means every person is responsible whoever working in the pharma industry, but means whenever we work in the quality assurance and compliance department, so we feel the more responsible ourselves.
Right. And what are the big challenges you see in this particular role? If you have to talk about the role you played in this particular role, what are the big challenges that you see in the compliance and audits?
Yeah, compliance and audits, that the challenges are the main important thing. We want um, that we must be a very good communicator, because audit is not a single person's work, it is a teamwork. One person cannot make audit successful. Each and every person in the industry or any company must contribute to the success of any audit. Yeah, when the people, so whenever we want to, we everyone want the guidelines to be in complied. Means everyone must follow the guidelines. So many times this happens that we say that yes, this is to be done. The other person will ask that why it is to be done. Many times it happened that there is difference of opinion, right? The person who is working in other department and person people who are working in QA or compliance, they have different opinion, right? So if the person is not a good communicator, so there is a less chances of being successful, because forcefully we cannot make everyone work forcefully. The person must wish to do. Means compliance does not happen कि forcefully we will say कि आपको ये करना ही पड़ेगा, आपको करना ही पड़ेगा. तो that is not the way of success. Means people want to do कि yes, we want to do in compliance, we want to make the medicines of good quality. They should not perform the data integrity. They should not do the manipulations. So means many times that people want to comply, but they are not having that much knowledge. Many times this happens that the attitude of the people is not more appreciated. Many times happens that people want to do, but they don't know the way. So these are the things. So in each and every situation you must play a very tactfully. Means you have to communicate tactfully that it is the good for the organization. And anyhow, when anyone is working in the company with 0483 or the company who has qualified the regulatory inspection successfully, so that is a matter of appreciation to that person also. It adds value to his or her career also. So many times we have to convince the people and that why it is important. So those are the things, the people working in quality and the people who are working in regulatory, people who are working in compliance. So this communication factor is very important for them, being technically sound, but if we cannot communicate to the person, many times I also felt sometimes I could not explain the things. So then I thought that how should we communicate, and people are also understood, people also understand that yes, yeah, she's saying right, or this is right, he is saying right, and it should be done. So those are the things.
Right. And like, what are the various steps like somebody has to take in a career? Like, if they have to reach to that place where they can become the compliance head or lead that particular entire compliance regulatory, this one.
Yeah, if anyone want to lead in the compliance, they must have the shop floor experience. Just going through the theory and not doing any practical. So means that is not going to help. Means it is not helping to become successful practically. So one should have the experience also and knowledge also, good communication skill also. It is not that that minimum qualification should be that or that. It is not any criteria. But once you enter in the industry, then based on the experience, one can grow to that level.
Right. So at one point of time, you were a compliance head, and then after that, how did you move ahead in your career? Like, what was the next step?
Yeah, means after I was working as a compliance head. After that, I started my own consultancy in auditing training. I'm helping pharma industry to comply the cGMP in a very cost effective way, and helping them preparation for the USFDA inspections, and imparting training to the people. And to help the industries only, I thought of writing my book, and it is about to be it's about to come soon. Blue Ocean of Compliance. So Blue Ocean of Compliance is my upcoming book, and in that um, uh, I have tried to present a very new and innovative thought process. And it might be possible the people who are not able to figure out the problems, it might be click, it may be it may create magic for someone. Means something may be clicked that since so long they are not able to find out the problem solution of the problem, they may get the solution in this book. And this is the first volume. I have tried to present as much as possible, but everything cannot be placed in this book. So this is my first volume. In this book, I have presented that why the regulatory inspections are happening, what are the enforcement actions if we do not follow the cGMP, then what enforcement actions may be taken, and why the things are not moving by, what are the reasons of the non-compliance on the site, and how you can work on those non-compliance, and um, how we can take the steps towards the 0483, means qualifying the inspection with no observation. So it is very innovative thought process. I have presented based on the um, experiences and warning letters which are given to the company, 483s which are given to the company. So based on that, I have tried to help people to solve the problem of non-compliance.
I'm sure that will, because Blue Ocean of Compliance, by the way, book cover is very amazing, right? It
Thank
is
you.
very attractive, and also coming with your 2 decades of experience,
Yeah.
definitely I'm sure like it is going to help a lot of people. And you spoke about how can actually you reduce the cost for the companies through the compliance and all of this. So how does this typically happen? Like, what are the areas that you work and support people on so that they reduce the cost?
First of all, that if we will see in the bigger way, there are different ways, and means, for example, it is a thought process. For example, many times this happen. I'm not particularly saying about any organization, but but that I'm saying based on the warning letters, reading the going through the warning letters which are given to the company, that many times the decisions are taken that to save the cost, people compromise the compliance and quality of the product, right? They say that okay, if we will because might be many times it happens that to manufacture the good quality of the medicines, there some cost is also involved, obviously. So then only the quality product is manufactured. So many times this happens that to save the cost, the people do the cost cutting, and they do not take the actions which are to be taken for the quality and compliance, right? So what happens, the quality of the medicines it reduced, right? So the quality of the product is not good, so market complaint is going to come, then recall is product recall may happens, might be possible that the regulatory inspection may fail. So the cost of not manufacturing the good quality of medicines, the cost of not following the compliance is very high, because once the enforcement actions are taken against any company, the business is also going to be in loss. The brand of the company is also uh, it is also not good for the brand of the company. So in this way, for 1 year, or it may take the more time to come out of those non-compliances and enforcement action for any company. And during this period, um, a lot of commercial loss happens to that organization, right? So so first thing is that to develop this thinking, that to manufacture the good quality of the product, cost of manufacturing the good quality of the product, the cost of compliance is very less than cost of non compliance. So for that we have to follow the good manufacturing practices, right? So by implementation of the cGMP, that cost is automatically reduced, right? In this way, right? This is one thing. And another thing is that there are many problems on the site. The reason of that non-compliance is nothing but the simple things. We have to identify those factors, that what is the reason of that non-compliance. It may be not be technical, right? So many times I figured out the problems, the reason of which was not the technical problem, the reason for the human error, because many times non-compliance created to the human error also. So many times the reason of human error was even technical. These were very simple things. I have explained all these things in my book. So currently it is not possible to explain everything in detail. So many times it is not the technical reason also. So identifying those factors which are not even related to the technical, and which is not related to the commercial also. So by finding out those factors, we can reduce the cost of the company, because people, means whenever any non-compliance happens or any deviation happens, so what happens that deviation happens, so kappa is taken, means in pharma we call it as corrective action and preventive actions. So corrective and preventive actions we take, but if the this kappa is not proper, right? If, for example, mm, if I have headache and I am taking the medicines for some someone else, some other diseases, right? So that my pain is not going to disappear, right? So similarly, if we will take the kappa, and it is not as per the root cause of that non-compliance, so kappa will not be effective. Finally, problem is not going to solve. प्रॉब्लम आपकी सॉल्व ही नहीं होगी, यानी मतलब हम what happens that any deviation happen or any investigation is performed in industry, so we have to find the root cause of that problem, and based on the root cause we take the action. यदि रूट कॉज ही प्रॉपर नहीं है तो कितना भी आप कापा ले लो, कुछ नहीं होने वाला, राइट? If the true cause of any disease is not diagnosed properly, so even giving the any costly medicine, it is not going to be cured, right? So one has to take the proper kappa, and for that actual root cause of the problem is to be identified. In that way we can do a lot of cost saving, and many times in hurry and to meet the timelines, the actual root cause is not find out, and many times investigations are not performed properly, and those are the reason of many warning letters which are given to the pharma industry. Those things are happening, and many times that no, any investigation is not extended to the all batches of that product or impacted batches of the product. That is also one of the reason that companies are getting warning letters. Means there are many factors from which we can do the cost saving for the organization, and but it is the wisdom of the person that how we identify the things which are doing cost saving and which are doing cost cutting but creating the major non compliance and costing more to the company. So that wisdom one must be having, and it is necessary to keep the balance between which is actually required and unnecessary expenses. Also, company should not do unnecessary expenses for the sake of compliance. Also, so one must have the wisdom to identify the things that which really matters for the compliance and the quality.
Right. Makes absolute sense, right? Rather than paying for it later and not being able to correct it, right? So you go with the
Yeah.
compliance and then make sure, okay, things are fine. And one important point you also made is one thing is like you do the compliance so that like your quality and all of that is good and you don't have to bear the cost later. The other thing you said is don't do compliance for everything. There is no requirement of certain compliance, right? And then you wasting that money or time and efforts also is something that is going to burn your cash and time. So that way, getting an expert advice or getting that consultation would definitely help. So that is
Yeah.
very profound here.
Yeah, one must develop the thought process in every quality professional, regulatory professional, and every person working in industry. One should develop our thought process to identify these things, because every time it is not possible in routine that someone we will be having someone to ask. So we have to develop ourselves thinking in that direction.
Right. And you also mentioned about quality check. It's always good, or the compliance. It's always good to create a high quality or a better quality product. Now, the compliance happens even during the manufacturing stage, or it happens once the product is ready. How does this happen in the pharma industry?
Okay, good question. Very good question. Previously, what used to happen that after testing the sample in the quality control lab, we used to decide the quality of the product. If batch is going to pass, then product is of the good quality. But now, in every step of manufacturing, the compliance and quality is checked. For example, any batch is being manufactured, so in process testings are there, and in each and every step of manufacturing, uh, we
So, can you maybe add
all
about these steps? I- Can you add the steps in the manufacturing, like some of those steps, so that it helps understand, like what is the manufacturing step by step process and where all quality? You said each step it is by the way required, But what are the steps in this particular process of your pharma industry, the manufacturing?
Yeah, means there is not a there are means it depends on product to product that what are the process, but I will give you means simple things. For example, any product is being manufactured, so there is a manufacturing process, batch manufacturing record is there. So in that batch manufacturing record, if any product is manufactured in 50 steps, right? For example, means 50 steps are there in batch manufacturing record, means each and every step is written in that batch manufacturing record, right? So
Right.
production person, whenever that production person manufacture that product, so yeah, means done by and checked by, right? So there are two columns, the person who is performing the activity and another person is verifying that activity, so another person also checks. So in this way, each and everywhere the steps are there, and there are different systems are also there, so which are checked.
Okay, and is there any pre-check or is there any pre-validation, anything that happens even before the manufacturing starts? Like, how does that happen? Like manufacturing any particular product?
The product is not going means there are the different stages of means product development. So first the product is developed, and during the development stage only different parameters are checked. They in development stage they study every parameter which is impacting the quality of the product, critical quality attributes which are having the direct impact on the quality of the product, which is as per the specifications. So those studies are already performed in the R&D, and it is not like that directly batch commercial batch is taken, right? So validation batches are taken, and during those validation batches, as per the guidelines, the number of batches are decided that 3 batches are to be taken. This based on the guideline, those number of batches are to be taken as the validation batches, and in that validation batches the studies are performed, and based on the guidelines there are the criteria that yes, this batch can be commercialized, and that batch is commercialized, and that batch is proceeded according to the purpose it is manufactured.
Right.
So
And
it is
from
not
where this,
directly happens, we see directly the product in our hand, but before coming in our hand there are the many processes which are there, from
right,
development to commercialization. There are many activities are done.
right. So there are different regulatory bodies from where the guidelines are
So
coming, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
here are these steps, like the audit does happen internally, or there is like always there is an external audit. How does that operate? How does that work?
yeah. Very good question. Very good question. Actually, audits are internal audits also, and external audits also. Internal audits are for self improvement. Means if if I'm having any manufacturing company, so internal there is procedure or procedures for internal audits, and there is a specific frequency also to perform the internal audits. So for example, there are different departments: QC department, QA department, production department, engineering department, micro department, EHS department, right? So different departments are there. So after a periodical after some period, every department is audited. There are different systems in different companies. So so in a year there is, based on the company's policy, there is some frequency during which the internal audits are performed, so that the health of the system, quality system, is maintained, right? So these are internal audits, and other audits are also there, like customer audits. Mm. And another audits are regulatory inspections, which are performed by the regulatory authorities. For example, I want to sell my product in US market, so those people will come and audit the facility. Those they will do the regulatory inspections. Like, and if we want to sell our product in Europe market, so those regulatory authorities will come and audit the site. They will also do the inspection. It is Audit, understanding audit is very simple. For example, if we buy any product of even of 10 rupees, right, then also we see that quality of this product is not good, then we tell that shopkeeper ki हाँ ये कैसा चीज दिया है, right? ये so the people who are buying the medicines by giving such a high cost, they will also expect that the quality of the medicines must be good, and it is applicable for everyone, right? Because finally the medicines are manufactured for the patient, so that patient must get the justice by providing him or her the good quality of the medicines. Many times it is it is a matter of life and death. If the person will not get the good quality of the medicines, that it might be possible that person will die. So why to compromise with the quality of the product? So that is the simple thing and concept behind the audit. Audit is good also because it is good for the business growth also, right? It is going to help in expanding our business also. So audits are very good, and the basic concept behind audit is to help the mankind only, because many people have died because of the adulterated drugs. So many people have sacrificed their life. After that, all these guidelines have come into the picture. So the people who are working in pharma industry, the people who are working in quality, compliance, regulatory. So in this way, they are contributing to the society and they are working very hard. So I really respect for every person who is working in pharma industry. It is not like that means I have respect for everyone, but specifically I have seen and I have worked in this industry, so I have a great respect for everyone who is working in this industry.
Right. Yeah. And you said audit important, audit is mandatory, and all of this. Now, what happens if an audit fails? Right? You do an audit, and the audit fails. In the pharma industry, how much is the typical time period after which you again go and re-audit things? How does that work?
I means it also depends. If audit fails, then we don't get the approval, right? So if we are not means there are different stages through which the our application is moving forward. So it depends on which step the audit is failed. For example, if it is a pre-approval audit, right? So means it depends that in how much time you give the satisfactory answer to the regulatory bodies. Means it is not fixed, it depends on your response to the regulatory authority. Means
Right.
there are many factors which are
Okay.
contributing to this.
Fine. And now that you are an independent consultant, trainer, and all of it, right? So now when you go to do these audits, are they considered as the internal audits, or these are considered the external audits from the regulatory body? How does that work?
Means it is an external audit only. It is considered as a external audit.
And somebody who does an audit has to have certain license, have to have certain certification. How does the qualifying criteria work here?
The biggest thing which is needed, that the experience and knowledge, one must be having the experience and knowledge. So that means the main thing is that you must be able to solve the problem, right? And there must be in guideline it is not specified that but they must have the training, experience and qualification or combination of this, right? So it is mentioned in the 21 CFR 211 and 211 that the consultant must be having the experience, training or qualification or any combination of this, and they must keep the details of the consultant with the company. So in this way it is expressed in the guidance. Means specifically they have not specified that this is the minimum qualification, or this is the minimum experience, or this is the minimum training it is required. So the thing is that one should be able to solve the problem of the other person, means
Right.
problem of the
And
company. Yeah.
yeah, and you come with experience. One is from the compliance, the audit, the quality check, right? All of this, and you also have been at the manufacturing plant. So, how does the criteria change, and how does the role change when you are like in the research or when you are at the manufacturing plant? And
Good question. So there is a very different thought process is very different, right? When any person is working in research and development, so he do the different trials, and the scientist, there is no limitation for the thinking and innovation. Uh, we cannot restrict any scientist, right? कि आप ऐसा मत सोचो, आप ऐसा मत करो, right? We cannot restrict any scientist, so they are free because it is innovation, right? And when we manufacture the product, when we enter in the cGMP product, means there are different stages up to which the cGMP rules are not applicable, and after that step the cGMP rules are applicable, cGMP guidelines are applicable. It is also mentioned in the guidelines. So whenever we are working in the manufacturing plant, so in manufacturing plant also I entered as a compliance person, and as a compliance person, so we see that whether the people are complying the good manufacturing practices. Now this word is very small, good manufacturing practices, but it is very vast. It is very very vast, means this four letter word is there, but so many guidelines are to be followed,
right.
right? For
So
different areas, different guidelines are there in, and every guideline is having so details requirement. So many things are there which are to be followed.
right. And if people have to understand the details, like what kind of details have you put in your book? Is it about the plant audit, or is it about the products audit? How, like, what is there in the book? If you can talk a bit about that, what have you covered in your book, and what inspired you to write the book, first of all?
Yeah, means as I have seen many regulatory inspections, I have seen the psychological conditions also of the people. Means although everything is good, then also there is a tremendous pressure to the quality people, not only quality and compliance, but every person in the industry, there is a different psychological conditions. So it is having the impact on the professional, not only on the professional life but on personal life also. So I thought that how I can contribute and how I can help them, that there is whether there is some way that there will be no observation. Means in our industry, 0483 is very big achievement. Means there is no observation, means your system is complying, um, so to a very high level. So how can we make the site with no observation? So how can I contribute to the pharma industry? How can I contribute so that they can live peacefully during the inspection also? So that thought process made me write this book. And actually, in 2019, I also write poems, and in 2019, I have written the book of poem, Pari Hu Main, right? This is my book, and it is available on Amazon also. And the day when I published that book, at day itself, I thought that I will be writing one book for in pharma industry also. So at that time, the topic of the book was not decided, but when I seen so many inspections and I have realized the pain of the people, I have seen the situations, that how it is impacting in the life of people. So I thought that there should be some process If we follow that process, then there will be no observation on the site. So how we will be able to face very peacefully, and there will be no stress to the people. So with that thought process, I have written this book, and in this book is for everyone who is working in pharma industry.
Right.
So it will help them that why the audits are happening, that what can go wrong if we don't follow the compliance, and what are the reasons of many of the non-compliance, that there are many non-compliances which are happening due to 80% non-compliances are happening due to few factors only, and those few factors based on my thought process I have presented in this book. And this book can do the wonders to the person, and have one has to understand the concept behind that and thought behind that. So that is my belief.
That's really nice of you. The intent with which you are writing this book, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it takes a lot of efforts
Yeah.
coming out with your experiences, adding that in the form of a book, right? And is it something that can be referred by students also by any chance if they want to understand about the audits and all?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It is helping with means finally any person who is entering in the pharma industry, whether he is in R&D or he is in QA or compliance or regulatory, understanding the audit is must. If one want to be successful in pharma industry, the person must understand the audits and regulatory and inspection. So one must be familiar. Even any person is working in R&D, so uh, this knowledge is mandatory.
Right, makes
So
sense. And
definitely.
when is this book coming out, by the way?
Most probably, I'm trying to launch in this month, or means in this month only. I'm trying my best to launch,
Okay, and
but
people
still,
can find this on Amazon.
yeah, yeah, it will be available on Amazon.
Yeah. And one thing very interesting that I could understand from you is I was trying to connect the dots. Somebody who is like done her MSc and then you did a lot of things in sciences, and you also did your MA, is what you said, right,
Hindi
during your
literature.
education, right? So one personality now also has the other thing, and you are showcasing your book. Can you show that book again, like the poetry book that you have written?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Pari hu main.
Pari Ho Main. Yeah, that's an interesting book. It's in Hindi.
Yes, yes, it is a poem of means Hindi poems book. 60 poems are there in the book. Out of
Wow.
this 60, I have written about means 40 poems when I was in class ninth. So
Great,
yeah,
nice,
actually,
nice to know.
the story behind doing MA in Hindi literature, because first I wanted to go for the IIT. I wanted to go for the IIT, but I could not select. And after that, I was planning to means go for the UPSC exams. So I wanted to be the collector. But so that's why I thought that one subject I will select as chemistry, and another subject I will take as Hindi literature. So that's why I took Hindi. And after MSc I did my MA in Hindi literature also, and during that 2 years after doing MSc, I I was also working as a newsreader and anchor in one TV television.
And that was in Hindi again, newsreader and anchor.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes,
You have had an interesting journey throughout your career. Now, since you are on this dream career talk show and you have been like, you aspired into different careers, you moved into a different career, then you got into a particular career which you are now loving and enjoying, and you are also
yeah.
contributing big time. So, what is your definition of dream career, Rupali?
Dream career. As per my thought process, dream career is the career which takes you to the journey of fulfillment. Yeah, it is not the career that gives you more money. That I now, after going through so many years of experience, now I concluded that we must get the fulfillment after doing our work. We should not compare by how we can monetize it. That we should not compare that uh, we are getting less money, we are getting more money. We There is no doubt that the basic needs to be fulfilled. That must be there. But finally, we must do the make our career around the things which gives us fulfillment, and we are contributing to the society also, and it is going us happiness also.
Right. Makes perfect sense here. Like you spoke about fulfillment in the career and also about contributing society. And then yes, of course, money is there as a byproduct, which you
Yeah,
will
yeah,
continue to earn, and you will make maybe more money when you are doing something that you love to do. Right?
yeah,
And that is something where I think you have also been very successful in your career journey. And I'm sure the book that is going to come out is going to help a lot of people as well.
yeah, yeah,
And yes, of course, the discussion that we have had can help a lot of people. And now, if people have to connect with you to ask more questions about this industry and know more about how they can actually scale in this career, where do they connect with you now?
yeah, yeah. They can write me on my email ID. Means I am there on social media. They can connect me on LinkedIn also. There continuously I am adding value. Means I'm trying to add value with this platform. I'm on LinkedIn also. I'm on Facebook also, and YouTube channel is also there. Insta is also there. So anywhere they can follow me, and they can write directly to me on my email ID. I have written Dr. Rupali underscore Paranspe at outlook.com. It is there on LinkedIn also. So they can connect with me there, and means whatever guidance they want, they can ask.
Great, thank you. Because I know you already like contributing big time on YouTube through your videos, on LinkedIn, especially. I've seen a lot of
Yeah,
your articles coming up there, right? And you
yeah,
have been visiting a lot of colleges, sharing your
yeah, yeah.
knowledge through your keynote speeches. So, of course, you are doing some great job out there. And thank you for being in this talk show and sharing your experience and your thought processes. That is going to help a lot of people out here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This journey was really. It was not even I also when look back. So I also think that how did I do? Because after marriage also I did a lot of study. My PhD, my MBA, intellectual property rights, and regulatory affairs diploma. All these things means lead auditor. Everything I did with my two daughters, my joint family and job that is also 10 to 12 hours. It means totally with traveling and all it comes. So I also think that yes, when I look back to I also think how kaise kiya maine? So I was means about to give the interview. तो that तब मैंने सोचा कि I thought कि हाँ where I started, how I moved. So I was also thinking कि yes, yes, means it was so tough. मतलब being a mother, a wife, a daughter-in-law, a daughter, and also being an employee. So all the things, but anyhow, I have moved. So,
Right. But yeah, definitely your journey is very inspiring and it will inspire a lot of people out there as well. So, to conclude this show, do you have any last piece of advice you want to give to the audience?
yeah, means um, it is not advice, but based on my experience, which I did, which I am applying since in my life, that never give up. We should never give up. When we That is the main thing, and that I'm applying, that we should never give up. When we give up, then our destiny writes that what will happen with us, and when we don't give up, then we write our destiny.
Wow, such a powerful message that is, right? When you don't give up, then basically you are writing your destiny. So, thank you for being here and inspiring all of people out there. And for all those audiences who have been there live and also interacting, Sanjeev, Nishakant, Puspita, Milind, Ravi Varman, Tanveer, thank you for all of you for interacting here.
Yeah, thank you to you, and thank you all for your interactions. And might be you can write me later, means you can connect with me on anyone who is watching and who is currently watching, or who later who will be watching. They can connect with me on LinkedIn, they can follow me, and on other social platforms also. So I will be happy to do something for someone.
Thank you. Thank you for being so kind. And yes, of course, for people who are watching us live and who are going to watch later, I'm sure this particular episode is going to help you big time if you are somebody from the pharma industry. And yes, people from different industries want to step into pharma industry. Also, there is a huge knowledge and experience being shared here. And definitely you can look forward for the book as well, which is coming up very soon on Amazon, The Blue Ocean of Compliance by Dr. Rupali Paranjape. Right. So thank you, Rupali. Thank you, everyone, for watching us live. And then, yes, of course, stay tuned on Dream Career Talk Show because we are going to bring more industry experts who are going to share their knowledge, their experience, and, of course, their success to show and then to inspire you to also build your dream career. So thank you, everyone, and good night.